Okay, great. This is on?
Yes.
Okay, super. All right. Okay, ladies, hi. Welcome. So, would you mind just closing the door? Thank you so much. Okay, so tonight we are going to be talking about catching the light, Hanukkah. I want to just dedicate this class. It's really important that we do that first. Let me just get his name. There was a car accident in Baltimore last night. A mother and her 13-year-old son. The mother is in critical condition and the son passed away. And the whole community there is just reeling, just absolutely falling apart. This boy, okay, her name is, this is going to be for the Refuah Shalema of Tamar Adina Bat Keina Shulamit. She should have a complete refuah. She should stand on her feet again, and she should no more pain. And for the Ilui Nishmat of her son, I don't know his name. I didn't get his name, but he should have an Ilui Nishmat. He's 13 years old. He was a very. They said that just now there was a High Lifeline auction where they had to raise money for kids with cancer, and he alone raised $12,000. Yeah, he was one of those kids, and little sweet boy. I'll pass around his picture, so we know who we're dedicating tonight's class to. And the more present we are, and the more we're able to be here, the more of an aliyah it is for them. So for him, let me show you the picture. This is him when it was a bike-a-thon, and he was able to raise $12,000 for them. So, okay. So here we go. Let's begin tonight's class. Okay. Tonight's a very, very important topic because the topic that of Chanukah, of Kislev, of the time that we're in right now, of what's happening energetically in the world, it's really important to know it, because once we know it, we can harness it. Which means that if I know what I'm being offered and I understand the offer, then I'm able to make a clear decision as to how I'm going to act based on this offer, right? How I'm going to where I'm going to take this offer to, right? If I'm not clear about what I'm being offered or what I'm even dealing with, then I don't know how to approach it, right? If you know about real estate and you are going to buy a house, right, and you know the ins and outs of real estate and you know the ins and outs of everything that has to do with it, then when you're going to go to buy the house, you're going to have your questions are going to be a lot more targeted, much more detailed. You're going to know how to ask, what to look for, what's good, what's not good, right? Because you already know what you're dealing with. So when you know what you're dealing with, you're able to make a better, a more educated decision. Okay? So that's what we're learning about right now. The first concept that I want to introduce here, because we're going to be discussing it a lot over the course of the year, is that every single chodesh in the spiritual world, every single chodesh comes from the word of hitchadshut, which means there's a certain newness to this time. It's not the same month that we had 12 months ago. We're not reliving the same month. It's a whole new energy, a whole new spirituality. And if I am aware of it, if I know what I'm being dealt, if I know what I'm being given right now at this time, I'm able to use it to really spring forward in my own personal growth and self-development. Meaning, it's almost like little diamonds along the way that are, once I'm aware of them, I'm able to pick up, and they're able to help me get to my destination a lot faster. Okay? When I'm not aware of the fact that these things are around, these things that exist, every single day is just another day. It's just another day, and another day, like last night before I put my kids to sleep. My 6-year-old Alicia, so he says to me, "So we're going to sleep now?" I was like, "Yep." And he says, "So, like every day is like the same?" Because like to him, it's like you go to sleep, you wake up, you do the same things, you wash your hands, you brush your teeth, you get dressed, you eat breakfast, you go to school, you come back from school. Like every day we do a little bit of a different thing, but like basically it's like the same schedule. So he was like, "When is this going to end?" he said to me, like, when does it change? He doesn't realize that it's just a stage, and then he's going to become bigger, and it's going to be a whole different life for him because he's going to be able to grasp his world in a different way. But for him, it's like this like never-ending like Groundhog Day, like it never ends. It's like forever and ever and ever and ever, right? And then he says to me, like, so when is like Mashiach going to come? Because he's the only thing that's going to actually spice things up a little bit, right? And it's very interesting because if you think about it, we're exactly the same way. We think whenever we're in a situation that it's going to be like that forever. This is my life, this is forever. We don't realize that everything is temporary. The stuff that you're stuck in right now, it's going to be different in 5 years from now. You're going to be in a whole different place. Think about a year back, 1 year ago, where you were, how things were, the issues that you had then, and how a lot of those things are already not issues anymore. Or you've gone past them, or you understood how that led to that, and that led to that, and how the whole thing came together, right? So we're very much like that in terms of our own grasping of things. And today what we're going to be talking about is understanding this idea. Come inside. We're going to be understanding the concept, the spiritual concept, the Kabbalistic concept of, it's really very much sourced in Kabbalah. What we're talking about is light. What is light from a spiritual perspective? And what is this light that we're being offered during this month? Every month has its light. Okay? Every month has its things that when I'm aware of them and I learn about them, I can use them to really take me to the next level in my self-development. Now, what's so great about self-development? Self-development, if I'm in a mode of self-development and I understand what self-development is, it's not like the same thing over and over again every single day. It's not that I'm living my life and my life is one long story, one long, dragged out story. It's not like, oh my gosh, I have to go to work again, okay, I have to do this again, I have to make dinner again, I have to do the laundry again, I have to do this. It's not one long story. When you're in a mode of self-development, now, how do you get to a mode of self-development? You turn it on in your brain. You tell yourself, I am in a mode of self-development. That's what you do. Just like when you go on a diet, I am in a mode of diet right now. Which means what? Over the next month, this is how I'm eating. And you tell yourself how you're eating. And you give yourself a time limit of how long you're going to be on this diet, or if it's a lifestyle, then this is where I want to be, this is how I want to look, this is where I'm going, right? That's the concept of being in a mode of self-development. Otherwise, life really does turn into this like one long sequence of events, where it's kind of like, we don't count our blessings, but we count the blows, how things are not going well, and also this didn't go well, and also that didn't go well, and also he did that to me. And on top of everything else that I'm dealing with, that happened. Right? And that's how we view our life. So it's a mode. So just like you're in that mode, you could switch to this mode. And it's kind of simple. How do you switch to self-development mode? Whenever you get into a space that is old pattern thinking, old pattern you, and we are always going back there. I've been teaching self-development for a year at this point, really almost a year. When I've gotten into very heavy duty, where I wasn't teaching before that, and still all the time. It's always coming up. It's always like that same old Devorah comes up of what if, and what's going to be, and what. But the only difference is now is that when I go there and I catch myself, I know what to tell myself to be able to take myself out of it. And it's kind of amazing. I'll tell you what happened this past Motzei Shabbos. I was Motzei Shabbat. So I was really feeling like, like I have to get out. Like, I've been in Florida for 3 months. I have not, besides for one time, I have not seen the beach. I don't know people here. I don't really know where to go. I live in Hollywood. It's like suburbia. Everyone's like super duper, like in their homes. Like no one's going out. No one's really out and about. And I'm in a place in my life where I want to, very, very much. And I felt very, very stifled. A whole Shabbos, and it was raining and pouring the whole Shabbos, and I was home with my kids the whole Shabbos and entertaining them the whole time. And then it was Motzei Shabbos, and I felt like I want to get out. I want to go. I want to fly. I want to just get out of here, right? And there was nowhere to go. I had nowhere to go, and I had no one to go with. Right? And I put up like a Facebook status, like, if you are my friend and you live in Florida, say I, because I had to find people to like say hello to, and so I can have friendships. And while it was happening, I found myself going into all of a sudden, I found myself going into a really, really negative state. Like into a really, really low place of stuckness, feeling like I'm in prison. Like I need to feel like I need to always be out and doing, or even in my house, or I'm just that kind of person, and I felt like so stifled. And that brought me to the next level of like feeling stuck and feeling unhappy and bringing up all the things that are not going well in my life, right? And like I saw myself lowering, going into this like lower dungeon place. And it started getting really scary because the emotions that come along with it are hardcore. The emotions that come along with it are like sadness and depression and like really like all the bad things that you don't want to experience and you don't want to feel. And within a few minutes of that, I started talking to myself. Talking, because these are the tools that you need to have in order to be able to lift yourself out of these situations. What's the point of lifting yourself out of situations? We're going to be discussing it tonight and what it means and what it really does for you in the long run. But lift yourself, just for the example right now, lifting yourself out of a situation means that you have the power not to allow yourself to go into that emotional state of downness, and you do. You don't know that you do, because every single time you feel those emotions, you go there and you get sad, and people smoke and drink and complain and cry and really, really, really go there because that's what they know, okay? But you do, and the more you do it, at first it feels stupid and you don't even believe it, okay? But the more you do it, all of a sudden the more it works, and all of a sudden it's faster for you to get out of a mode of sadness and self-pity and my life is falling apart and what's going to be with me and how am I ever going to whatever. You all of a sudden come out of that, right? Or if you're feeling that way for your kids or feeling that way for whomever, okay? And really, really overwhelmed. So this, I'll give you just in a nutshell, the tools are very, very simple. Okay, the tools are very simple. All you have to do is use them. What's so hard about using them? Why is 99% of the world not using them? Because in the heat of the moment, there's something called a misery comfort zone, and there's something about us that likes to go there. There's something dark, something unhealthy, that there's like a comfort in the sadness, a comfort in the depression, a comfort. There's something that we know that it's so familiar to us that we just naturally go there and we feel bad for ourselves and we cry and we really go in there, and there's a comfort. To like say no to yourself and to pull yourself out of it, it takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of emotional stamina, okay? But like exercise, the more you do it, the better you get at it, right? All of a sudden, the first day you're running for a minute, and the second day you're running for 1 minute and 30 seconds, and by the next week you're running for 2 minutes, and after that you're running for 5 minutes, and then you're just continuously running, right? That's the idea, that's the concept. It's simple. You just have to do it. Okay, it's simple. It's like, when I talk to some people about Shabbat, and they are so spiritual, and they so believe, and they so know, and so I'm like, so what's the deal? So do it. Light your candles and eat your challah, and don't turn on lights, and go away for Shabbat, and make it an amazing spiritual experience for yourself, and do it. And it's like, when it's the right time. There's never going to be a right time unless you make it right now your right time. You make your life. You make your bed. The bed you make, you sleep in. It's never going to happen to you. You're not one day going to become like a spiritual guru. You're not one day going to wake up and be like all calm and happy and a really great example for your children and the people around you. It's work. It's constant work. But the work is not so hard. So what's really the basic tools that I'm just going to say in a nutshell right now? The basic tools are like this. Whenever you go into that space of real, getting the energy sucked out of you, getting the sadness, getting the self-pity, all of it coming into your life right there, you tell yourself, first of all, you can start moving. You don't sit. Okay? And you don't do this. Because this action right here of the sulking and the smoking, it's almost like it goes hand in hand in a lot of people's lives. Even if they're happy, once they got the cigarette in their hands, it's almost like there's like this sadness that comes along, okay? I know most of you, probably all of you, don't smoke here, but there's probably many more people watching, so we're just going to include everyone. So that whole action. So what's very important? It's important to know that a lot of things are physical also. Okay, where you are physically, how you are physically. Okay, so if you get into that motion and you feel that way, get out of your bed, get off the couch. Get up, start making your bed. Go or walk around your house. Do jumping jacks, listen to music, do things that are moving your body, okay? Because once your body is moving, it's much easier for your mind to start thinking better thoughts, okay? So you have to learn how to trick yourself. Because if you're comfortable to keep going back into that place of sadness, then you're just going to keep going back there. So if you do the same thing over and over again, you're just going to get the same results over and over again. If you want different results, you got to change your tactics. And this is a new tactic. A, move. B, in the moment, keep telling yourself the things that you believe in, the things that you know, and things that strengthen you. So for me, what are those things? Those things are for me that this is just right now, this is just resistance. I am growing right now. I am right at the edge of like a real breakthrough in my life, and it's known that whenever you're at a breakthrough moment, there's always going to be a really, 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 really down moment. It's known. That's the way life is, always. Right before you're about to have a real big breakthrough in yourself, in your life, in your success, there's always going to be a real thick, dark, black wall standing in front of you that's just going to try to get you down. That's the way it works. That's the way life is. That's the way God created the world. Okay? Before the sun rises, it's always the darkest. Right before sunrise, it's the thickest night. Why is it? Because the way it is. And it's our life like that also. So I always tell that to myself, right now you're feeling this way because you're about to experience a breakthrough. You've been working so hard. Keep pushing, Devorah. Right now you're on the treadmill. Right now you want to give up. And if you stay for another 10 minutes, you're gonna totally surpass yourself. You surpass your limits. This is going to get you to a place of expansion. Everything Hashem does is for the best. It's not happening to you. It's happening for you. This is happening for you. You talk to yourself in the moment. You bring yourself to the place where you know logically, and you use all the information that you have from all these classes that you take and that you learn to actually get you to the next level, because that's what matters. You have to put your money where your mouth is. And putting your money where your mouth is not when things are calm and things are good and you're feeling great and you're out for a date with your girlfriend and you're giving her advice and you have all the right things to say. It's in that moment when you're bugging out, when you just want to break, when you just want to let it all, when you just want to just totally give up. That's what happens. So I want to talk about right now, I want to move into this concept of Hanukkah. Okay? Right now, from tomorrow, we're 10 days away from our first candle. Okay? We're 10 days away. And that means that we have to understand that the energies of this month, the energies of Kislev, are amazing energies, okay? Amazing. Kislev happens to be my favorite month on the calendar, okay? Because why? Because what it represents and what it stands for. So let's go back for a second and look at the first Hanukkah. The first Hanukkah happened. It's not written in the Torah, even though there's a few hints places in different places that refer to Hanukkah. Hanukkah happened after the Torah was written. Hanukkah and Purim happened after the Torah was written, right? So what happens? First of all, it says by Mashiach, when Mashiach comes, Hanukkah and Purim are going to be the only two holidays that are not going to be eradicated. Every other holiday will be. Okay? Hanukkah and Purim are not. Tisha B'Av is going to be a Yom Tov, okay, a holiday, and Hanukkah and Purim are going to be the only ones that we're going to take from exile with us into Geula with us. And we're going to still observe those holidays. So what's the deal with Hanukkah, and what happened in the first Hanukkah? The first Hanukkah, what was happening at the time was that there was a tremendous amount of darkness in the world. Why? Who was ruling the world? The Greeks, Yavan. Yavan is known and hinted in the Torah in many different places that Yavan is choshech. Yavan is darkness. What do they represent? What do they stand for? They stood for everything that was beautiful, everything that was on the exterior, looked good, looked strong, whatever met the eye and looked right, that was what they liked and that was what represented them. It says in their history books even that kids that were born with mental disabilities or physical disabilities, they would take them up to a mountain and they would throw them off the mountain. They were not tolerant of anything that was not perfect, that wasn't beautiful to the eye. Okay? Very similar to the lifestyle that we're living today. People are scared not to be perfect. People are scared not to look perfect. People are scared not to have perfect homes, perfect bank accounts, perfect marriages, perfect bodies. People are scared. No one can know how much I make. No one can know what's going on behind closed doors. No one can, to the outside world, I have to be like, good, Baruch Hashem, great, yeah, right? It's all this plastic, superficial exterior. Why? Because if anybody knows what's going on underneath the surface, then it's horrifying, right? No one can know. I have to make it sure that on the outside everything looks like it's perfect. That's very Yavin. That's very, very what Yavin stood for. If it's not gorgeous on the outside, we toss it. Okay? And if it's not, if the presentation is not par excellence, we toss it. Okay? And Judaism is very, very much about what's going on the inside. Judaism is very, very much about the inner world. The inner world of a person, of a home, the inner world. Right? That's why we have today so many Jews, unfortunately, that, my mother used to always, when I was becoming religious, she would find these articles in the newspaper, in the Israeli newspaper, of the rabbis that raped the kids, of the pedophiles, of the abuse, things that were going on in Israel, and people with beards and hats, and she would show me, she would show me what they're doing. And I would always tell her, Ima, I don't care, because to me, that's just a costume. That's just exterior. I don't look for the exterior. I don't care about the exterior, right? If a person can act that way, and if a person can abuse that way, and if a person can hurt that way, to me, they are very, 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 very far away from everything that represents godliness and Torah and truth. Extremely. I don't care what they wear. And the opposite is true as well. You can have people that are clothed in a way that is very far from what I think and what we know to be Torah, to be godly, and to be truth. And yet, on the inside, they are so representing God and truth. So both people have to do a lot of tshuva. Both people have to find their way to truth on some level. Right? The guy that's wearing all the garb on the outside has a lot of work to do on the inside, and the person that on the inside is so great has some work to do on the outside. It's not as hard. It's not as hard. So I just want to say, hi, welcome. I just want to say like this. Let's push this down a drop. I just want to say like this. This concept, would you mind closing the door? Is that okay? Thank you so much. This concept of Hanukkah is like this. At this point, they were a few men, the Maccabim. I'm not going to go through the whole story. A few men, the Hashmonaim, the Maccabim. It was Mattatyahu and his 5 sons. Okay, they were a small army, tiny little army, and they were not an army. They had no machinery. They had no weapons. They were not strong. They had nothing to them. Right, against the army. The Greek army. The Greek army was huge, was tremendous, was equipped, was. Can you imagine the muscles on these people? Can you imagine the armor on these people? Right? But what was going on, and it's very metaphoric, okay? It's not a war that happened back then, it's a war that's happening right now, okay? What was going on? The small nucleus of a people, right? These 5 people, these 6 people, that saw what was going on in the world. What was Yavin doing? Yavin was trampling everything that had to do with Kedusha. What is Kedusha? Kedusha is, okay, let's take the opposite for a second. Tum'ah. What is Tum'ah? Tum'ah comes from the word of atum, completely shut tight. Tum'ah means impurity. It doesn't really mean that. But in the shoresh, the root of the word Tum'ah is atum, shut, tight, suction shut, when there's no room for anything to penetrate. That's Tum'ah, right? What's Kedusha? Kedusha is the opposite of that. Kedusha is a vessel that is created and that allows for something to sit in it, to be held in it. Okay? So it's opposites, exact opposites. When a person is involved with tum'ah, God forbid, right, then he shuts himself off completely from any kind of spirituality that can enter. Which means what? That's what the Torah talks about non-kosher food and how it affects you. Right? I had a few students over the years, right, that were keeping everything, and they weren't keeping kosher because they felt like they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it at home. They couldn't do it with their parents. They couldn't do it. It was too hard. And they were keeping Shabbat, and they were keeping tzniut, and they were doing all of the mitzvot, but kosher they were not keeping because it was just very difficult for them. And they would tell me always, it was like so interesting. There was always like that same thing of, I don't feel it. I don't feel it. I don't know why. I know it's the truth. I understand it logically. I go to classes. I learn it, but I don't feel it here. Right? And my automatic question, I always ask this to anyone that tells me I don't feel it, is, do you keep kosher? Do you keep kosher? Why? What is the deal? How does kosher affect the spirit? How does it affect the neshama? Literally, it says that non-kosher food that it has ingredients in it that are not kosher, what it does is it creates a tumah on the neshama. A tumah is almost like a seal, where you want to feel connected, you want to feel spiritual, you're standing at the kotel, and you're like, you want to feel it, but you feel nothing. All you're doing is like checking out this lady and what she's wearing and who she is, or maybe I know her, right? You're not there, and you want to be there, but you're not there. You're lighting the Shabbat candles, but you feel nothing, you feel hollow, right? You're doing the motions, but you feel nothing. Right? The lack of feeling, you have to check what you're putting into your mouth. You have to check what you're putting into your soul. Why? Because it creates a layer. It creates a blockage. And that's tumah. It's very simple. It does. The way our actions here in this world, in this physical world, very, very much impact our soul. There's not one without the other. There's not one without the other. I can't be super, super, super spiritual and then have my body eat whatever, do whatever, act whatever. It's one. It's one unit. It's one unit. Right? It's very, very much, and it's also the other way around. You can't look super spiritual on the outside, super religious on the outside, and inside be completely separate from everything that has to do with holiness and kedusha. You have to put your money where your mouth is on both levels, on both sides. Right? That's how you're going to experience the perks of spirituality. Always. That's how it works. Right? When I was talking to my cousin, I was mentioning this last time, and she was telling me how, she is very, very spiritual, and I actually love hanging out with her very, very much, and the conversations are deep and amazing. But to her, hanging out on a nude beach is totally spiritual. And to her, eating whatever is totally spiritual. Bugs are protein. Right? Why? Where's the missing component? Where's the missing piece? The missing piece is that we have to know that our spirituality, we always nurse it. According to Kabbalah, we nurse it from God. We nurse it from spirituality comes from God. So when God is very clear about how to nurse, and the best way of experiencing your life in terms of being on for real, being really spiritual, not just spiritual not that kind of spirituality, but really on fire, really passionate, really involved in your life and alive in your life, right? Is when there's an equilibrium there. When you understand that body and soul work hand in hand. Where just because you keep Shabbat and keep tzniut and keep kashrut and are not working on emunah and all the internal muscles of your soul, right? And vice versa, right? Then if we understand that it has to work together, otherwise we don't feel it. And that's why so many people today are leaving Hashem and are also coming back. Right? Because people that are leaving are the ones that are saying, I don't feel anything. I'm walking the walk, I'm talking the talk, and I feel nothing. Right? So goodbye, I had enough of this. And people that are coming back are the ones that realize that, this is how I experience life. This is what life feels like. Finally, I feel alive. Right? Okay. So the concept here that happened on Hanukkah, this war that's going on, and next week I'm going to get into more of specifics of Hanukkah, but right now I just want to set the tone for the next week. For the next week of our lives, what we should be focused on, what we should be feeling, what we should be where we should get our energy from, nurse our energy from. What happened was, on a physical level, was that the Yevanim, the Greeks, wanted to eradicate any kind of kedusha, any kind of spirituality, any kind of connection to something that is above and beyond what you can see and touch. They wanted to eradicate that. So what do? They took away Shabbat from the Jewish people. They took away Rosh Chodesh from the Jewish people. When we don't know when the new month is, we don't know when the holidays are. When we don't know when the holidays are, we don't know when Shabbat is. We don't know when the times are. We don't know when we're supposed to pray. We don't know when anything happens, right? When we're off the time schedule, when the Jewish people are off the timetable, we can't be Jews, right? Because we don't know when it's Yom Kippur, we don't know when it's Shabbat, we don't know when it's prayer time, we don't know when anything is happening, okay? We live according to this cycle of time. Sunrise, sunset, that's how we live, right? All these things have very, very much to do with our souls. When it's sunrise, how it affects our soul, what to do then at sunrise. The best time to daven Shmoneh Esrei, the best time to daven Shmoneh Esrei is exactly by mates, because there's something about energetically that's happening in the world when the sun rises and you're doing Shmoneh Esrei that's going to escalate your tefillah to a level that it doesn't get to at 11 o'clock in the morning, right? All the stuff that has to do with time and how the world is set up, right? When we understand it, when we learn it, it's a whole different reality that we're living, a whole different religion that we're living, a whole different spiritual level that we're at, right? So they wanted to take that away from us. They wanted to take away Brit Milah, right? No Brit Milah for a Jewish child. You don't have to have it on your body. You don't have to have it in your soul. You don't have to have it on the outside and on the inside. Just take it away. You can live. You can live. Enjoy everything. Enjoy Yavan. Enjoy the way it is. Enjoy the life. Enjoy the world. You can admire the beauty of this world, but have nothing to do with all this whole world of energies and godliness and holiness and working on yourself, and just move away from self-development. Move away from anything that has to do with the metaphysical. And just stay very, very deep in the physical. They were choshech. They symbolized choshech. And this small group of Jews knew that they had nothing to fight them with. They had nothing to fight them with. They had no weapons. They had no artillery. They had no machinery. They had no armor. They had nothing. But they had one thing. And if we understand this concept, this can change our life. Okay? If you're really in the game of getting your life correct, and I'm assuming that if you're here in this room and it's important enough for you to get in your car and drive here and make this a priority in your life, then you're in the game, okay? So if you're really in the game, this is an incredible concept that we're about to learn right now. So sit up. All right? No more yawning. Go get a drink of water. You also. Go get a drink of water. I'm commanding. You have no excuse. Get yourself awake. The Yetzer Hara, he's very into doing this to us. Grounding us. We're very much here in this world. It's all very, very, the energy is pulling us down. Okay, the energy is constant. Gravity is pulling us down. With gravity, there's also spiritual gravity, mental gravity. It's pulling us down. Man is always wanting to sit down, lie down, chill out, and relax. But when do we start living? We start living when what? Let's just put this here. We start living when we're in motion, when we're in activity. That's when we start living. That's when we feel alive. When do you feel alive? When you're in activity. That's when you feel alive. How hard, exactly. Thank you so much. How hard is it for us to get on that treadmill? How hard is it for us to go out of our house and get on that walk? How hard is it for us to say no to pizza and yes to salad? How hard is it for us? Why is it so hard? Because we're in a gravity world. We're in a spiritual gravity. We're being sucked down constantly. We have to be smart. We have to outsmart life. If you want to get anywhere in life, you got to outsmart yourself. Outsmarting yourself is you came out here, you got dressed, think about it. You got dressed, you got in your car, you drove all the way here, you parked, you came in here, you're sitting here, and what does he do to us? And everyone, besides for a few people on this side, I won't say anything, but you guys are very on fire here. But the rest of the room, there's like a
no, we need to be up.
Right? Right, of course, right? Why is there this, but you want to. You came here. You put in all the effort. So where's this coming from, this, Where is it coming from? First of all, it's a lot of bad eating and bad eating habits, okay? Your body, when it's sitting, now it's digesting, and it's going through all the sugars and the carbs and all the lack of movement from life, okay? So there's a lot of that happening, and when that happens, and our mind is fueled by what we eat, so when our mind is fueled by what we eat, we can't focus, we can't concentrate, we get distracted, we feel tired, we're yawning, we think about all the things that we have to do, but you came. So give it to yourself. So how do you outsmart yourself? You start doing this, and you start moving around, and if you have to stand up and walk around the room, so stand up and walk around the room, and if you're ADD, that's fine, that's cool. We're all in this together. We're all ADD on some level, right? So you gotta, right? How do we, by the way, I just want to tell you, eating well, okay, is such a huge struggle, and the reason it's such a huge struggle is because wherever there is gold, wherever there's a treasure, there's going to be pirates and things that are blocking you in the way. There's always going to be that. Okay? The easy thing to grab and eat, you open your fridge. There's lettuce, there's carrots, there's tomatoes, there's onions, there's lemons, there's whatever, and there's cheese. What are you going to do? Cheese, because it's easy, because it's right there, because it's ready. Right? To take out your lettuce, and to wash it, and to cut it, and to do a whole salad now, and like, who, what? Right? It's hard. It's hard. But getting in the mode, it's the point of getting yourself into the mode, okay? And when you're going to be able to be in that mode, and when we're able to be in that mode, I'm actually starting something really interesting very soon. I'll tell you about it a little later on in the week, next week maybe. But when we get into this mode of activity, all of a sudden it's not hard, and all of a sudden we feel alive. And we're sitting by a class, we're not going into this. No, I'm watching your faces, and I'm holding myself back from not laughing at you, because you don't understand. It's like pain. It's painful. I know, right? So, but and I don't blame you. It's the end of a long day. There's a lot of things, right? We have to outsmart ourselves. We have to outsmart life. So that means eating better, so your machine doesn't get so tired. This is a machine. Okay, and so when you give it bad fuel, bad oil, it responds in the same way, right? But if you keep it in line, then it delivers much more. Okay, so you could be sitting at a class at 8:30 at night or 9 o'clock at night, and you're up, and you're fueled, and you're passionate, and you're there, and you want to know, and you want to build it in your mind, and you want to see how it applies to your life, and you have questions. You're just like, at the end of the class, thank you so much, right? And like you feel spent. Okay? You have to feel rejuvenated. Okay, so it's easier said than done. I know. We're all in the same boat. Okay, here we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol niyeh b'dvaro. And that goes to all of you also at home. Is this working? Okay, I don't know if it's working. All right. Okay, so here, let's just move into this concept that I want to. This is what I came out here to tell you tonight. Okay, this is why I got a babysitter and I got all pretty for you. This is what it is. Okay, this is the nugget. You ready for the nugget? Okay. There's something called, okay, and this is another force that we have within ourselves. Okay, something called. Before I get to what it's called, let's put that to the side for a second. We all want our whole lives to get to a feeling of good. We want to feel good. Okay. You call it happiness, you call it pleasure, you call it money, you call it a husband, you call it whatever. Everyone wants to feel good, okay? And the world sells us on, if you want to feel good, go to the Bahamas, be a size 0, look really hot, have your body like tiny, be on the beach with some really cute guy, drink a pina colada on a hammock, that's good. Subliminally, we don't understand that that's what we're being taught over and over and over again. What is feeling good? Getting there. Being there already. Being rich already. Being married already. Having that thing already. Getting there. That's good. The process is a drag. The process is hard. I hate the process. I just want to be there already. I just want to have that already. I just want to have the money, have the house, have the man, have the kid. I want to be there already. Okay? And that's what we're being taught since we're very, very little. Happiness is when you get that toy, not when you're waiting for it and saving up for it. No. When you get that toy, when you have it in your hands. Happiness is when you get your degree, your diploma, your whatever. That's when you feel good. That's good. Everything else is not good. It's not good. It's not good. It's not fun. No. Right? And this concept has to be eradicated from our brains. Eradicated from our brains because it's the furthest from the truth. What's the truth? And the truth is in Hanukkah, and the truth is in Kislev, and the truth is in what we're learning right now. This is the truth. The truth is, people feel good when they expand. What does expand mean? Expand means when I am able to see that last year I was here, and this year I'm here. People feel good when they are able to create, produce. People feel good when they see themselves accomplishing, when they feel like they're on a certain path and they're sticking to it, even if it's hard for them, then they feel good, right? You feel good when, even though it's hard for you, you feel good. Let's just take the example of the gym. You go to the gym and you feel good that you're there every day. Every day, you're doing your exercises every day. You feel proud of yourself. You feel good. You feel like, oh, I'm in. I'm not like starting. It's not like the beginning. I'm not constantly falling off the thing. I'm not constantly falling off the horse like I'm doing it. I'm actually like, you see these trainers on YouTube, or these people that talk to you about like losing weight, feeling great, being all motivated. You see their body. You see their stamina. You see them and you're like, wow, oh my God, oh my God. And imagine you're there. Imagine in a year from now, you're there. You have a six-pack. You look awesome. You feel great. You're eating well. You're there. Right? Aside from the fact that physically you feel good, you're proud. Getting through college from day one to day, whatever, 5,000, okay? After being there for what feels like 5,000 days, okay? After getting through that and walking away from it with a diploma, you feel accomplished. You feel good. You feel like, wow, I did that. I achieved that. I accomplished that. Right? Human beings don't feel good when they actually get the thing. Because if I were to sell you a diploma, you wouldn't feel good. You'd be like, all right, good, I got my hands on a diploma. All right, at least I didn't have to sit through college. I bought one for $3,000, but okay, you wouldn't. That same feeling you wouldn't have. You wouldn't own it.
It's not accomplishment.
Zero accomplishment. What's the equation? The equation is that us human beings need to go through the grind and the struggles and the resistance of daily life and come out on top. Okay? And the falling is part of the falling, the constant falling. Okay? You want to daven shacharit every day. You want to pray. So you tell yourself, I'm praying. From 8 o'clock to 8:30, I'm praying. So Sunday you pray, Monday you pray, Tuesday you pray, Wednesday you forgot, or you couldn't do it, or whatever, and you bummed out. So you pick it up again. Thursday you pray, Friday you forgot, or Friday you forgot. So what happens naturally to people? Forget it. They toss it. They toss it. They don't like, whatever, I can't do it. It's too hard for me. I can't do it. Right? What happens to people that are strong-willed? And it's always the people that are strong-willed that are going to get far in life. It's not the people that are smart. It's not the people that are talented. It's not the people that have everything going for them. It's not the rich people. It's the strong-willed people. It's the people that I fall off the horse 1,000 times, I'm going to get back on. Those are the people that are always going to get to the finish line. They are going to get to the finish line. They are going to get whatever they are going for in their life. So that means they didn't, let's go back to our example of shacharit. Okay? So they miss shacharit, started doing it, missed it, have all the negative feelings that comes along with it. I'm such a loser, I can't hold on to anything, or a diet. Okay? Or whatever, not yelling at your kids. Or not putting your husband down. Or not feeling bad about yourself. You know, you go 3 days with not talking negatively about yourself. You don't say anything bad to yourself or talk negatively to yourself. There's not enough talk about this. People don't realize you are your number one enemy. When you are cursing yourself, putting yourself down, telling yourself how bad you are, telling yourself of what a loser you are, telling yourself all the things that you can't accomplish because, what do you mean? I know I can't accomplish them because I never did accomplish them. And I'm not successful at accomplishing them. And I know myself. All that negative self-talk inside, right? Staying away from that for a few days and going back to that. All that falling, the falling is part of the process. What's the nugget? What are we getting at now? The nugget is, the understanding is that it is in the day-to-day, in the daily grind of your life where you just want to be there. You just want to have a good marriage. You just want your kids to listen to you. You just want to feel good. You just want to lose weight. You just want to be rich. You just want to be there already. You have to know that if that was just given to you, you would feel 80% less good about yourself than you are going to feel when you're going to get there on your own in the process. Because if you tell yourself, I'm going to get there. I'm going to get there. It's going to be fine. I'm going to get there. I'm going to make it a point to be healthy. I'm going to make it a point to feel good about my body and about myself and to get myself in check. I'm going to make it a point to pray. I'm going to make it a point to start keeping Shabbat with more enthusiasm and more presence. I'm going to make it a point to go to more classes, more self-development classes. And you push yourself. Even if you fall, even if you mess up, and even if whatever it is, you have to know that the actual process of pushing yourself, of being on that treadmill called life, of being in the motion, of changing those diapers over and over and over and over and over again and feeling like you have no life, of doing the laundry, of going to work, of being in the whatever it is and coming out on top, okay? Which means that you keep getting back on the horse. You keep getting back on the treadmill. You keep getting back to what the practice is that you know is higher than yourself and you're not there yet. That is how you expand, and people, human beings, love expanding. That's where we feel good. That's where we feel happy. Not when we get to the finish line. Not when we get what we want. When we're showing ourselves who's boss. When we show ourselves who's boss. How often is it that we're able to say, I didn't want to, and after I did, it felt so good. I didn't want to, and after I did, it felt so right. I'm so proud of myself. That concept is concept number one. You have to understand that the way you function is not result, it's process. It's in the process, in the struggle of life, of pushing yourself to do the right thing over what you don't want to do, over what your habits have been telling you what you are. Right? Because we have two voices, what we want and what I really am. Right? Bless you. What I really am is all the things that I've been told by all the abusive people in my life. You're not good enough at that. You're never going to be able to accomplish that. You're not going to achieve that. Forget it. It's not for you. It's not for you. Don't just keep your head down and just stop being so crazy and fanatic and insane and intense and just relax. Go to work. Wake up. Go to work. Do your thing. Come back. That's fine. It's enough. You don't need more than that, right? That's the smallness talking to us. And when people stay small and people don't expand, when does the expansion happen? When you push yourself onto that treadmill when you're not in the mood. When you make yourself get into that mode of self-development even though you don't want to. When you put on that skirt even though you don't feel like it because you know that it's the right thing and this is the way to get to your soul. When you light those candles and you're there and you're in the moment and you're not thinking, oh my gosh, my challah, my kids, my this, my that, you're there. You're there. You're in the zone. You're in the moment. You're not in next. You're not in next. You're here. You're now. You're here with yourself. You're now. And you don't make any excuses. Because the excuses are what keeps us small and unhappy and stuck and not feeling good about our lives and waking up the next morning and another day. Okay, let's do it. Let's go. As opposed to and you can have the same life and two different people viewing it in two different ways. Because this one is in self-development mode and falling and getting back on and falling and getting back on and messing up and getting back on, because the falling, you have to know, people get confused. People think that, oh my gosh, I failed, so forget it. I can't do it. People get confused. They don't realize that the falling it's the same as the winning. It's the same as the pushing. It's the same as the time that you didn't make it to the treadmill is the same as the time as you did make it to the treadmill. It's the same. Because it's all part of the process, unless you just give up and walk away completely. And if you give up and walk away completely, then it's over. Right? That's the concept. The concept is we have to understand that the growth is in the process. It's not in the result. That's point number one. Point number two, how does this fit into Hanukkah? I love this point. And this is where it all is. Okay? When they went out to war with an entire army of Greeks that We're like all about muscles and strength. And these like 5, 6 religious dudes are like, skinny little guys are like, what are you doing? Are you psychotic? Are you crazy? Because they understood one concept. This concept is amazing. What's the concept they understood? They understood that when something is right, even though it seems to our eyes, in our minds, when we make the cheshbon, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. I'm not doing it, right? A lot of people do that with giving away money at the end of the month. I need every single penny. How am I giving away 10%? How am I giving away Meiser? How am I doing it? It doesn't make any sense. I need every single penny, right? Or I can't pray right now. I have to work. I have so much work to do. I can't pray. People make these like calculations of, what's really important. And what the Maccabim are explaining to us here is that even though it seems to you in your life like doing this is going to be a total loss for you, okay? If you're walking into a lose-lose situation, what you're doing is crazy. What you're doing is off. And it happened to me also. It happened to me. I pushed off my divorce by a whole year because I thought that if I was going to get divorced, I was going to lose speaking and I was going to lose teaching and no one would come to my classes anymore and I wouldn't be able to teach anymore. And that's like what I live for. Because like if you're divorced, then I had this thing in my mind. So I suffered for a whole extra year because of that. Right? And so what are the Maccabim telling us? The Maccabim are telling us, even though it looks like it's bleak and it doesn't make any sense, okay, that you should be in this mode, that you should be doing this thing, that you should be on this path of whatever the path is, right? When you are involved with something called, you ready for it? Mesirut nefesh. When you are in a place of mesirut nefesh, which means self-sacrifice. Self-sacrifice is not like, let me cut off my limb for someone else. Self-sacrifice, what self-sacrifice means is what we were just talking about before, the expansion piece. The piece of pushing yourself. The pushing yourself piece. Even though it doesn't make any sense to you. Even though, you know what? A lot of women actually, because 2 weeks ago when I came out with my whole story, I've been getting phone calls from divorced women, or on the verge of divorce. A lot of on the verge of divorce, or wanting to get divorced. And what was the theme of all of it? I want to get divorced, and I also don't know if I want to be religious anymore. Everyone said that. I also don't know if I want to be religious anymore, and it's an epidemic. In the divorce world, a lot of women get divorced and they throw everything away, and then they start going clubbing and they get very physical with a lot of different men, and there's a lot of that. There's like an extreme. I was married to one man for so long, and all of a sudden there's like an extreme, like crazy, right? And they lose themselves, and they get very, 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 very unhappy, right? And in the long run. What's the concept? What's the concept to them? The concept to them is that right now, I just want to feel good. I just want to feel good. So I'm just going to do whatever feels good. Right? Right? We understand this piece? I'm trying to build this in a way that when you walk out of here tonight, you're going to be able to understand something in a different way. Okay? So what makes me feel good? This makes me feel good right now. Eating this cheesecake, going out with this man, doing whatever, watching whatever, not working out, not eating well, not keeping things, not caring, not learning, not pushing myself to self-development. Right now it feels good is to hang out and gossip. Right now it feels good is to not care, to smoke, to drink, to whatever. That feels good right now. Right? That's what feels good right now. So the concept is like this. When I'm in a mode of, if I really want to feel good, if I really want to grow, if I really want to expand, if I understand that my happiness and my love of life comes only from expansion and accomplishment, then the here and the now is not going to feel so good. The here and the now is not going to feel so amazing. You know why? Because the here and the now is uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. If I want to be healthy, it's uncomfortable not to eat the cheese or to eat the pizza or to eat the burepas. It's uncomfortable to now cut up a salad. It's uncomfortable to now have to put on my gym shoes and go out and go to the gym or get on the treadmill or do whatever. It's uncomfortable to now, my whole life I've been wearing pants and now put on a skirt and to, cover up. It's uncomfortable. It's not comfortable for me. So we're either in a mode of comfort Which means feel good here in the now and understand that in the long run, or even in the short run, you wake up feeling empty. You wake up feeling like life is just life, and life kind of just sucks. And there's nothing fulfilling, and there's nothing amazing, and there's nothing that's like whatever. And you just wait for the next party, or you wait for the next outing, or you wait for the next drug, or you wait for the next whatever to fill you and then to leave you empty again, and to throw you to the wayside and to make you feel empty again, and you wake up the next morning again feeling empty. Or you get into the understanding that you're a human being. And if I were to give this class to a bunch of non-Jews, I would say the same thing. Human beings thrive, develop on pushing themselves, pushing their limits and expanding. Pushing their limits and expanding. Pushing their limits and expanding. That's where we thrive. That's how we feel alive. That's when we wake up in the morning and we want to be alive and we love life and we're happy and our mood is up. And it's not, yeah, God, everything is fine, yeah. Thank God, yeah. Actually, it's not so fine. When we're not there in our issues and our problems, we're not living our issues and our problems, we're not absorbed into our issues and our problems, the only way to get out of your issues and your problems is to expand, is to push yourself to the limit, is to make yourself feel like I'm gonna throw myself into an army, a Greek army, experience that is larger than me. I don't think, every voice in my head is telling me you're not going to be able to do this. You're not going to be able to accomplish this. You can't go back to school. You can't do this. You can't work on yourself like that. You can't take on yourself this. You can't eat that way. You can't work out that way. You can't do all the things that you wished you could do. You can't because you just can't. And you throw yourself into the Greek army's hands. And that's called Mesirut Nefesh, where it doesn't make any sense logically, where it's too hard, where it's too it does make sense logically, but it's too hard, and it's too difficult, and it's not you, and come on, and I'm never going to be able to do it, and I know myself, and I'm too weak, and my life doesn't permit it, and all the narishkeit excuses that we make in our lives, the constant excuses that we make for ourselves to continuously stay small, and not to bust out of our comfort zones, and not to bust out of ourselves and to expand and to actually feel alive and to feel amazing. We constantly make these excuses of, I can't fit it in right now, it doesn't make sense right now, it's too much for me right now, and then we never feel good. And then we never feel good. What is the power of Kislev? What is the power that we're in right now? The power that we're in right now. This is the month of miracles.
And light.
This is the month of miracles. You were born here in this month?
No.
Oh, it's your month. Oh.
No, I'm saying light.
Oh, light. Of course. This is the month of miracles. What's the month of miracles and light? What is it? What's the force here? And we're going to end with this. This is where we're going to wrap it up. We're going to understand the whole package. All we have to do in life is show up. We don't have to make sense of it. You don't have to think like, you just have to start. Don't start making like calculations. How it's not going to work out, it's not going to fit in, and it doesn't make sense, and he's going to say that, and she's going to say that, and I don't have enough money, and just start. Just start. Say, I'm going to start this piece. I don't know where it's going to lead me. It might not turn into anything, but I'm going to push myself once. I'm going to start. Just show up. Keep showing up. You fail, show up again. You fail, show up again. You fail, show up again. Because that's what they did. They said, hi Hashem, we don't have anything, but we're just going to show up with our fists. We're just going to show up. Because that's the concept exactly that Hashem is telling us here. You don't have to make my calculations for me. I want to take you somewhere, but I can't take you there if you're not showing up. It's like Adam was created, Adam, right? He was created. He came into the world. There was nothing in the world. It was gray. It was empty. Everything was waiting right underneath the surface of the ground. Everything was waiting. The fruits, the vegetables, the trees, the flowers, everything was waiting. All he had to do is open his mouth and ask for it. And once he asked for it, Hashem brought down the rain and everything came up. And there was the Garden of Eden. But we have to get into a mode of showing up. Whether it means asking for the things that we want and putting our money where our mouth is. And saying, Hashem, I want to be healthy. 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 So if you want to be healthy, my friend, if you want to be healthy, my child, Show me you want to be healthy. Stop making excuses and make it happen. Even if you don't succeed, even if tomorrow you're not going to be able to do it. But right now, show me. So make a better decision. When you open your fridge tonight, make a better decision if you really want it. And know that it's easy. It's always easy to choose the easier path and the feel-good path. But bottom line, if you want to feel good really, really in your life, if you want to be really, really happy people, if we want to be really on top of our lives and alive and passionate and happy, even though we have issues and problems, because everybody has issues and problems, we have to know that where it is, where it lies, the secret is in the action, in the pushing, in the expansion, in the pushing. That's where it is. That's where it's at. That's where the secret is. It's not the getting there. It's not the buying the degree. It's the getting the degree. That's where it lies. It doesn't sound like fun at all. But is your life fun now? Is life fun now? Is life fun when we are constantly making excuses and rationale for why we can't? Why I can't? We're always telling ourselves, why we can't? I can't because of this, and because of money, and because of my situation, and because of my kids, and because of... I can't. Why don't you tell yourself, I can, and I'll figure out a way how to do it, because it's important to me? I can, and I'll figure out a way how to do it. I'll make it work. I'll make it happen. That's how they won. That's why we have Hanukkah. That's why we got back to Big Dish. That's why we have the menorah. That's why we have it all. That's why we're taking this holiday with us into the Zman of Geula. We're not taking Pesach. We're not taking Sukkot. We're not taking any of them. We're taking Hanukkah. Why are we taking Hanukkah? Because that's what Hashem worships. What does Hashem worship? What does Hashem love? What does Hashem love? And this is a term, it's called Hitaruta Deratate, which means when we initiate. When we're just like, Hashem, please God, oh my God, my life, it's so hard, it's so difficult, and oh my gosh, I can't. When we initiate, when I say, I don't know how it's going to happen, I don't have the money, I don't have the means, I don't have everything is not set up perfectly, but when we initiate, we make it happen anyway. We show up. Showing up. I want it, so I'm going to sacrifice. I'm going to sacrifice what feels good, my comforts, what I'm used to. I'm going to sacrifice it all because I want to get close to you, or because I want to experience spirituality. For real. All these people think that, like, you know, that they're spiritual people by the fact that you can't be spiritual if you're not working, if it's not hard for you. You're not growing if you're not climbing. There's no growth. You can look so religious, but if you're not climbing inside, if you're not constantly trying, if you're not constantly in this mode of like mesirut nefesh, of expansion, you're not growing. There's no growth going on. Right? There's no growth going on. You can't just be in the feel-good moment. Feel good, feel good, feel good. You have to be in a mode of, this is hard, this is difficult, but I'm doing it because it's important to me. And that's how we live our life. If we live our lives that way, my friends, if we live our lives with that kind of understanding that we can, and we're powerhouses, and we can live our lives that way, and it's just a matter of showing up, even if it doesn't make any sense, and I don't know how it's going to work out, and I don't know how I'm going to win this army, and I don't know how I'm going to win this darkness, and I have no idea how this is going to work out in my favor, but I believe in you, God. And you tell me to show up, and you tell me to put my right foot in front of my left foot, and just walk. And don't worry about how it's going to work out. Just walk. And one last thing, it always happens to me with with Alicia, my 6-year-old. It's funny, he's like the star of the show constantly. But he always he's always making calculations. Like, but Ima, if we do this, then how are we going to do that? And are we going to have enough money for this if we go there? And he's like, I'm always like, chill, man. I'm your mom. It's my problem. It's not your problem. You just enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride. Just be a kid. And that's what Hashem tells us. Just show up. What do you want? What do you want in your life? You want to be happy? You want to be happy? You want to feel good? You want to be positive? So show up in that area. Show up in that area means do what it takes, just the beginning, just the tip. Show that you want it. Do mesirut nefesh. Push yourself out of your comfort zone a little bit. You want to lose weight? Push yourself out of the comfort zone a little bit. You want to get more energy? So stop eating sugar for a day or 2 or 3 or 4 and 10 or 100. Just push yourself. Because that's how it's going to happen for you. That's the gate that opens for you. The pushing. That's where it happens. And believe in your strength. And believe in your strength. Because this energy of like, nah, I just want to sit here. Okay, you have an excuse, but I just want to sit here. I just want to relax. I just want to chill. Just let go of that. Let go of that. We have many years in the grave to relax and chill. We have 70, 80 years here until we get tired and frail and inability. Bezrat Hashem, Bezrat Hashem. Very, very soon. Very, very soon. But that's what we have. That's what we have. So we got to get in the mode of moving, of movement, of Misulat Nefesh. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for teaching.
Of course. How do we do this? Anyone know? Finished. There we go. Bye-bye.